So it's been a little while since I put up any videos, roughly about 3 weeks. You know, Christmas comes around, that time of year, everything gets really busy. I had a couple snowblowers to work on, my own, fixed one up for a buddy of mine. All kinds of fun stuff like that, Christmas shopping, you know, you get the deal. So either way, what we have left now to do to finish this lift off is, one, we'll be replacing this not so good foot switch with this much better foot switch. And when we get to doing that, I'll link the web page and show you the price and whatnot in the video. This is by Metal Air, M-E-T-T-L-E Air, a nice company in Canada, so it's a really nice foot pedal for actuating your lift. Once we get that installed, we're going to go ahead and build our front wheel clamp. So we'll essentially have something that's like this. We'll have 3 pieces like this. 2 are fixed and 1 will be on a post and some Acme thread that we can then screw in and clamp the wheel. And once we get that done, we'll be ready to give this a quick priming and painting, and we should be good to actually start using it on a regular basis. So let's get that pedal hooked up. So let's take a closer look at this pedal. Like I said, this is by Metal Air, and here's a link probably in the video description, as well as a picture of it on their website so you can see the price and whatnot. So you can see it there, the Metal Air FV230C. It shows you the inputs and outputs and all that good stuff. It's actuated like this. I'm pretty sure this is the one that the company I'm modeling mine after uses. It looks like it anyways if you look at their website. So pump it up, let it down. Probably plug in a few of these holes because we won't be using all the functionality. But yeah, this is going to be a lot better than this FV320 that doesn't hold air at all. So I'm going to go ahead and disassemble all this, assemble this one, and we'll test it out and see how it goes. So just quickly now, we'll go ahead and review the functionality in this pedal. So you can see position 1, which is the pedal in neutral, just sat there like it is. Nothing is activated, all ports are blocked. Position 2, pedal pressed down to the A side. That would be pushed over to this side. You get airflows from P in and out to A, exhausts through B out to R2, and then in position 2, air flows from P to B, air exhausts through A to R1. So let's go ahead, disassemble the other one, get this one hooked up, and test it out. So you can see this is the FV320 valve, and even the mounting screws that kept this mounted in that little chassis broke off. And I mean, like, I didn't even put any torque on these at all. Like, I took it out and put it back in once, and when I put them back in, they just wouldn't stay tight, and then the heads came off just in using the pedal. So wouldn't recommend buying one. So let's get that new Metal Air pedal hooked up. We'll see how things go. So here's our input P. We'll take our 1/4 inch MPT fitting with the pipe dope on it, thread it in there. We'll snug that down. Okay, so now that we got that put on, we can hook up our air feed to it. When I press this down in the A position, we should get air coming out of A. And it certainly does. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get our A side hooked up to our side with our pressure gauge that goes to the bag on the underside of the lift. So now, simply with the A side hooked up, I have air running into the pedal. I depress to the A side, lift goes up. Got a pressure gauge here showing us how much pressure we got in the bag. Now, if I disconnect my air feed and I want to let it off, I can simply just press on the other side of the pedal. exhaust out the air on one side. I can also press it the other way now because there's no air being fed in, and it actually comes out this side as well. So I think I'm just going to use it in this configuration for the time being. So I've got everything I need. I got the air going in, pump it up. I've got my pressure gauge, and then when I pull off my hose, I can then go ahead and step on the pedal to deflate it. Can you see this thing? No leaks. So now that we got our working pedal set up, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start working on making the front wheel vise. So now that we have a properly working pedal, what we're going to look at doing is we're going to use some of this 1x2 steel to make up our front wheel clamp. So like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a situation where we've got 3 elbows made of this 1x2 steel. 2 of them will be permanently mounted to a piece of plate that gets mounted to the top of the deck of the platform here, or the deck of the lift. And a third piece will be in freely so it can move between the other 2 with some Acme thread type stuff on it. That way we can use that to clamp the front wheel. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper and a pen. We're going to lay stuff out on top of the deck of the lift here, and we'll draw out so you can see what I'm talking about. So if you're looking at this thing from side on, this is essentially what it's going to look like. Let me move you guys in a bit further, give you a better view. Here we go. So there's a plate. This plate essentially mounts onto the front part of the lift. We'll have an elbow here like this. So this is what it's going to look like from side on. If you're looking at it from top down, you'll have your plate like this. You'll have 3 of those elbows. This one in the middle will be free floating, can move back and forth, and we'll have a post that comes out through the top side, the bottom side, and the Acme thread part around here. So you got a hole here, and a threaded nut or something here. So you twist this will move this piece here in and out to clamp the wheel against this side over here. I'll put up a picture. Now you can see kind of what that looks like. It's just stuff I found on the internet in my general perusings to see how I want to do this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up how long I need these so I can make sure I can get enough clamping on a variety of wheels so I can lift a variety of motorcycles on this lift. And then we should be good to start fabricating this. So let's get to work. So now we got our 3 bottom pieces cut. Those will mount to the piece of plate. So we're going to have the fastening pin to the top of the lift. So you'll have the 2 outside pieces, probably like that. They'll be tacked because they'll be fixed. And they'll have the pieces that come up like this, that grab the front part of the wheel. And then the third one in the middle, like this, will be the one that has the guide post through this piece and the threaded rod through. And so when you screw that in, this will slide it across. And this is where your wheel will get squished to clamp the bike in place. So what I'm going to do now is get these 3 things welded up like so. I'll probably just come back after and cut off the excess with the grinding wheel, or with the cutting wheel on my grinder. And then we'll be ready to get some holes drilled in this piece, get our guide posts put in place, and then we can have a look at actually getting this fabricated. So I went ahead and I knocked a bit of a angle, say about 10-15 degrees or so off these pieces as well. So now when I put these together, I'll get a bit of a steeper angle. So you can see now, I'll put this back here, if I can hold these together. Should probably just do it with one, but either way. The angle now will be nice for getting a motorcycle wheel in here and clamping that. So I'm going to go ahead and tack these together now. I'll get the first one tacked up, then I'll use it as the template to make sure the angle's the same on the others. And then I should be ready to, using either this piece of plate here as the bottom support. That thing gets bolted to the lift itself, or something else. So I've got a bit of other plate there. Should be ready then to get some holes drilled and get the guides put in, and our pins then made up that are going to move through one of the outside pieces to keep the inside piece lined up when we're clamping a wheel. So let's get a few welds on. So I was getting ready to start welding the legs for clamping front wheel for the whole, I guess, front wheel clamp assembly for the top of the lift on. And I decided to check how much welding wire I've got left. So I still haven't filled up my gas bottle yet. So I've got no MIG wire. And I'm also pretty much out of flux core. It's currently 4:15 on New Year's Eve. And I just tried calling my local Canadian Tire and they closed at 4 o'clock. So this is going to get put aside. And for you guys, it'll be a few seconds, and for me, it's probably going to be a couple days. But either way, you get some welding wire picked up, we'll get back into action. Now that we got that all squared away, let's get geared up and go ahead and tack up these arms for the clamp. So now we can better visualize how this is all going to fit together. We've got one leg on that side, one leg on that side, a bit closer together. Front wheels aren't really that wide. So these will be fixed, tacked into place. We'll have a situation where a threaded rod will drive this one over to pinch the wheel here against this fixed side. So next thing I want to do is take these two and finalize all the welds on these now, and then I'll mark where my guide pins are going to go through this piece and where the Acme thread piece will go through and connect to the other one for putting it in and making that clamp. So finalize the welds on this, we'll look at drilling some holes. So here's the situation we have now. We've got our arms moved forward a little bit, about 3 or 4 inches. So now when our tire's on the plate, we're in a good spot to actually clamp the tire and not interfere with the rim. So now when that's twisted in, it will clamp the tire and it'll keep our bike upright. We'll also be using ratchet straps too, but I wanted to put a front wheel clamp on as well. So here's where we're at with the clamp construction. We got our holes drilled out. We've got our pins. So here's one, here's the other. So essentially we got a guide pin through here like so. We'll have a guide pin through here like so. I'll just center those up so they stay balanced for now. Then we'll have our Acme threaded rod and the nut on it through here, like so. So now these guide pieces will be permanently affixed to the clamping piece here. So they'll just be tacked on here and here. And this piece here, I'll probably also tack that on as well. So then the situation will be, when you turn this thread in, it'll push this piece over and clamp the wheel down here. So during preliminary musings with our, I guess, threaded rod going through here where my finger is, it turns out that when you put pressure on this at this point, you can see I'll push it on my thumb, it tends to push this sideways. So what I need to do is I need to be putting my pressure somewhere around right here to make sure this pushes straight across. So here in the corner, so up where it was, no good, it's pushing that like that. Corner, it still pushes that way a bit, but goes mostly straight. So right here, about, I guess, in line with this, seems to work best. I can push it relatively easy and it goes in and out there pretty good. When I don't twist it and jam it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of steel on both this piece and this piece. And I think what I'll then do is have my Acme thread rod here mounted essentially here. As if I look at that from here, it essentially puts this, this, and this on the same plane, and then that should allow me to get a nice even push through. I want to make sure I don't want to push it out this way either. So I'm going to do some playing around with it, and I'll bring you guys back when I get my final decision made and I start getting something put together so we can see this going back and forth. So I went ahead and aired up the tire that I'm using to test here. So now I have a situation where with this Acme thread and push point moved, we'll bring the bike in until the tire is there, so you're going to be able to clamp with this. Then we'll push it in using our Acme thread. That brings us in tight against the tire like so. And then when we tighten it down, I'll have a proper handle put on this. And you tighten it down then, nice secure fit there. Now this is only clamped onto the lift and tack welded, but you can see I can shake the lift with that now in place. So here we go with the clamp. I got the final welds done. I went ahead and just lightly attached the end piece on the Acme thread here to this block. And as I weld it up, so just pull the bike on. It'll be like so. Go ahead and spin the lever around. I'm gonna have to come up with a better handle than this, but for now this will do. Spin this in. The clamp contacts the wheel. Tighten it up. Way you go. Bike secured. So now I'm going to take everything off the lift, lay it down. I'll pull the passport over. We'll put it on. We'll tighten this onto the front wheel on the ground, make sure everything's secure, and we'll lift it up and see how it goes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and give the system a quick test. Keep in mind that where I've got the clamp located right now, it's going to be back about a foot further than that. I just got it here so I can keep it clamped onto the deck for the time being, so it's half sensible, we'll say. So, there we go, bike clamped. The ass end is a bit off. I'll straighten that out just by lifting it up and shifting over a bit. Tighten down the clamp. Now I'll go ahead and bring her up. Keeping in mind we got this here. So now that puts us at a good working height. We can get at all the things on the bike. It's good and secured by the front clamp here, which is not even fixed to the lift currently. And the position is going to be shifted this way a bit as well. But hey, here we go. We've got a working wheel clamp here for the lift. We're at the point now where we've got a working lift with a working wheel clamp. We're able to get a bike lifted up. So the last thing we're going to need to do now is, one, fabricate the small frame that this will bolt to, and that's going to go on this side of the lift because I'm going to want that on the fixed side of the lift over here. And then the last thing we'll be doing then is creating a simple safety latch. So when this is in the up position, we'll be able to swing our latch in and put it against one of the legs or one of the cross members, and that'll prevent the lift from dropping if for some reason it loses air pressure. So yeah, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.